celebration of the Oscars on the ancestral lands of the Tongva, Tataviam, and Chumash peoples, the traditional caretakers of this water and land. We honor and pay our respects to Indigenous communities here and around the world.
Before I can begin this episode, we must honor and pay our respects to the Indigenous people who built the land the studio sits on by performing this ritual of our acknowledgement. Oh, wait a minute. You're watching Woke of the Week with MRC-TV and Culture. I'm your host, Justine Brooke Murray. You probably don't need any hints at this point to guess which moving performance, secondary to the mandatory salute to every dinosaur believed to have first inhabited Hollywood, was honored and acknowledged with an Oscar this year. Belting out one of the most difficult show tunes while swinging upside down in a harness? Everyone deserves a chance to fly.
Has that ever happened in a movie before?
Or doing whatever this is. And the Academy Award for Best Song goes to the musical Tranny Evita.
Soy Emilia Pérez, una mujer mexicana, una mujer como las demás.
One of these things is not like the others. One of these things doesn't belong.
Be honest, how many of these Oscar-winning pieces of epic cinema did you know even existed before their faceless academy of self-proclaimed elites told us they were epic pieces of cinema? Have you ever actually heard the word Honora, which is apparently a title for some sort of soft porno glamorizing the empowering profession of a street hooker? Did you know what that even was before it beat out all other subpar Hollywood sex films for metaphorically jerking off the correct marginalized identity group of the day? Perhaps you never heard of that name until I just told you what it was now, because you understandably don't care what glorified histrionics or celebrity class is up to. It's no stunning revelation every Hollywood reward show is just a predictable routine for the mediocre ditty types to spend the equivalent of a Sleepy Joe handout to Stacey Abrams so they can congratulate themselves for being mediocre. In fact, mediocre is kind of the rule for Hollywood. But the party of the subpar can't begin without crossing off a performative checklist to make sure they complete the routine. All right, we gotta do the indigenous thing acknowledgement now, and then we have to reward at least one man in a dress. Check. Okay, insert some woke weird sex stuff.
I've been pretty outspoken about my stance on sex work.
Okay, check. Got to apologize to all the minorities next.
I've been thinking a lot about some of the distressing issues that we are facing collectively.
Check. Trump bad, check.
Trump.
And, the Jews, check. Yep, blame the Jews, check, we got that. Can't forget to blame the Jews.
We call on the world to take serious actions to stop the injustice and to stop the ethnic cleansing of Palestinian people.
That's the tricky thing about those tolerant types peddling the age-old trope that Hollywood's run by a scheming cabal of Jews, given their open support for finishing the job. Aside from their nod to terrorism, the entire industry is now a competition for which performances and screenplay can be as painfully boring and subpar as possible on a budget that would make the producers of a USAID musical blush. Not even the gay chickens of Oz.
Those chickens are gay.
And the intersectional therapy sessions we were supposed to call a press tour could place the 1619 Project rewrite of The Wizard of Oz above the artistry of a French pervert who apparently learned Spanish for the first time so he could break 2 glass ceilings with one musical about a gender-confused Mexican cartel leader.
Men to woman, or woman to men.
Man to woman.
From penis to vagina.
Those impressive linguistic skills and character development are akin to a script your 8-year-old brother would come up with if he got a hold of your Barbie dolls and forced them all to perform. It's an Oscar-winning Lobar, the wicked woke of the West, was simply too talented and hardworking to match. But hey, she's new to Hollywood. Perhaps the Diddy gods figured they'll let her win more accolades next year if she dedicates her fair share of white parties. Or virtue signaling by playing the first bald black lesbian Jesus. Average moviegoers let our self-appointed cultural overlords reverse the standards of excellence years ago. We're so used to the abstract diarrhea sweeping the Academy each year to the point we're excited a more than decent movie was even considered worthy enough to tie at the bottom with this. Until you find out they only tied because the leading tranny's less than woke tweets apparently kept her groundbreaking movie from rising to the level of a sick flick that pretends the teenage slaves of the syphilis business are just a bunch of strong, independent women fulfilling their lifelong dreams of dancing.
So what was your favorite memory from stripper camp, as it were, or like what you got to do when you were doing that?
Any product or movie star who resembles a smidge of beauty on the red carpet at this point is an anomaly among a parade of lecturing humanoids who spend billions to appear as butt-fugly as possible and assign some ironic meaning to whatever Silent Hill nightmare they decided to dress up as while simping for the backward societies that want to wipe their way of life off the face of the earth. Hey, you can still count on an insecure audience of normies desperately clinging on to any wishful hope their favorite elite has their back for doing the bare minimum to put their foot down, whether or not they actually meant to give that gesture or just sneezed. Right of center types craving for some inclusion among our cultural elites will reward them thunderous applause for stuttering some milquetoast line about
Anti-Semitism.
before switching like a nervous wreck back to the scripted routine before anyone notices.
And racism. And of othering. Okay, I'll get out of here. I love you.
That wraps today's episode. Make sure you tune into my show every week where I bring you the left's most insane moments and expose their latest attempts to weaken the West. Then hit the like on YouTube, plus on Rumble, follow us on social media, comment below what you think, and don't cave to the leftist media agenda. If you like the work we do here at MRC, please consider donating at mrc.org/donate. It's the best way to help our movement. Thanks for joining us.